Church, we have just a special day prepared for you, and it's just amazing how God works and how things just worked out as far as scheduling, with today being, as I said, National Orphan Sunday, and our partnership with GLA, with God's Littlest Angels. And it just so happened that in the same time frame as God would have it, we have with us today John and Dixie Bickle, who are the founders of GLA. So would you guys welcome them to our church this morning? So guys, it's just a pleasure to have you guys here, and a lot of our church is seeing some of the images from GLA for the first time, and several of them have actually been there. And so now you can put sort of faces with the names and the place, and these are the folks that are responsible for who God has used from the infancy and just when GLA was just an idea to what it is today. And we're going to talk a little bit about the current state of the orphanage, but also where it came from and things like that. We can try our best to try to condense. This is a big story. Try to condense it down into the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. So we'll try to cover as much of that as possible. But just know that after the service, John and Dixie will be available out in the foyer if you'd like to spend some time talking with them. If you have a particular question for them that you'd like to ask, just feel free to go up and take some time to talk with them after the service. But first, as partners in ministry, now we got involved in Haiti back in 2013, and we quickly found out, as you guys know, that not everything and everybody in Haiti is as it seems. Yep. And so we got involved with a particular organization that didn't quite turn out the way we had hoped, and we feel as if we perhaps got taken advantage of a little bit, and that happens. And so we started looking for a new partner, and we looked around and did our research. We had learned some things. We had learned some red flags to look out for. And so we narrowed it down to 3 new organizations, new to us anyway. And Brandy, who you saw in the other video, she is our New Life Orphan Outreach Ministry Director. So she plans all of our mission trips and our trips to Haiti and things like that. She and a team of folks got me the information, and they said, here are 3 places. We know that Haiti is where we're supposed to be. Here are 3 places that we feel fairly confident in. We need to choose from one of these 3. I said, okay, I'll look at them. You guys go back, start praying. I'll start praying which of these 3 it might be. And out of the 3, it just felt like GLA was the place for us to partner. And I felt strongly about that. Didn't know how they felt. When we came back together, it was a unanimous consensus decision that GLA was the place and that you guys were to be our new partners. And so we started in 2016, sent a team down there to investigate. And they were absolutely just blown away. And I think it was the start of a wonderful relationship between our church and what you guys.
Already.
It's been a blessing, hasn't it? But here's the thing. I would like for our church and those who are giving, those who are sponsoring, and those who are praying about the ministry there, not just to know about GLA, but to know about you guys. And to know who is John and Dixie Bickle. And so they can sort of put not only a face with the name, but a story. And we believe here at New Life that every name has a story. Every person matters to God and has their own story. And so if you could, real quick, just tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where are you from? We know you don't originate from Haiti. That's sort of obvious.
Yeah.
But where are you from? What was your former life? Marriage, kids, all those kinds of things. Just a little quick personal history.
John and I met in high school in Monticello, Illinois. Very small town, 3,000 people, so everybody kind of knows everybody else and everybody's business, okay? So,
Feel a lot like Locust.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up on a farm outside of town. John grew up in town, and we first met, I was 16, he was 18. We got married when I was 17. I just graduated from high school, in fact, a week before we got married. And John then was 19. So we married young. I went on to university after that. My parents really wanted me to go to nurses training, which is what I desired. And so we lived out in the country, and John worked for the phone company while I went to school. And we'd been married about 5 years when we had our first child, a little girl. And total, we have 5 children, 3 biological, 2 adopted from Haiti. We've been married 46 years, 5 children, 7 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. So yeah, we've got a big family, very close. All of our children love Haiti, have been to Haiti. And we were called to go to Haiti while we were going into our church. We saw something in a bulletin. It's a long story. I was raised in church, went to church faithfully until John and I were married. John was raised in the Methodist church, which he did not have that personal relationship to God. He went through confirmation classes that told him, okay, if you say, you learn all this stuff, then you are saved, okay? But going to, I went to a little country church and grew up in that, the 25 people, members that came faithfully, and that was a good Sunday, okay? And so it started growing, and the church now is like 125 every Sunday. But John came to our daughter's birthday, and God touched him. He reached down and slapped him on the top of the head, and he went down and he was saved. He got a personal relationship with God. And we'd been going to church for a while when we were called to Haiti. And it was a step of faith for us. And it was, we didn't know what we were doing. We made a commitment for 2 years. We've been there 28 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And we did not go to start an orphanage. I'm a nurse. I went to do some home health care in the area. John's Mr. Fix-It. He fixes anything, okay, handyman. And we went to serve, and after we'd been there about 3.5 years, God sent us a baby. Weighed 1 pound, 15 ounces. They were gonna let her just go at the hospital, the mission hospital where we were working at. And they said she's too little to save. We're just, they just laid her out on the bed, didn't even cover her up. And she was born on Christmas Day. And I said to the mom, after Christmas lunch, somebody at Christmas lunch said, there's a baby up there. I said, it's the tiniest baby you'll ever see. I said, what are they doing? They said, oh, she won't survive. She won't survive. The doctor said she can't live, so they're just letting her go. Well, I went up there, and here had been 12 hours, and she's still just kicking and everything. And I said to the mom and dad, would you let me try to save her? Would you let me try? I said, I don't know, she's awful little, but would you let me try? And they said, please. And John and I took her home, and John made an incubator out of a cardboard box, put a hot water bottle in it, and put her on top of that, and we put a little light bulb in there and covered it with a towel.
Works for puppies and kittens.
Yeah,
why not a kid?
Thought we had nothing else. We had nothing else. And we fed her with a eyedropper, for 4 days. On the 4th day, she started sucking. And someone had given me a puppy set of itsy bitsy nipples and this little bottle for puppies. That's all we had in the country that we knew of. And so I sterilized that, and we fed her with that. And she is now 24 years old.
Amazing. That's wonderful.
And that we never was with her. The day I took her home was the hardest day. I wanted to keep her, and John said, we're not here to adopt babies. We're not here to adopt every baby you see. And I said, oh, but she needs me. I could raise her so much better. Because at the time, there was a little bit of me that thought that they didn't have enough to give her, so it'd be better if she was with me, okay? I don't believe that anymore. God showed me that's not true, that they love her so much. And they gave her as much as they could give her, and that was okay. She didn't have to have everything that all the kids here have, okay? She was happy, and she went to school and stuff. But the day I took her home, of course, I had my car loaded up with stuff. Water, clean water, because I didn't want her to get sick. I had diapers for them, and I had formula for them, and I had all of this other stuff. And as they're carrying the stuff away to their little home that's this one little room house that's probably about as big as this area where we're sitting, I was just so sad and down, and all of a sudden I felt a tap on my shoulder, and I looked behind me, and here was a woman with a 3-pound baby, and she said, "Madame, would you help me with my baby?" I said, "Sure." And we got her in the car, and I've never been without a baby since in the orphanage and the NICU. We have a neonatal intensive care unit. God sent us there to do that. Never thought we'd do babies. John said, "I'm not doing babies."
I've
Okay?
changed enough
No,
diapers.
I'm not doing. And but that's why God took us there, and He took us there for 3.5 years to learn other things before He sent us a child. He knew when we'd be ready for that. And we went down there on faith. We stepped down on faith and actually started our own orphanage because we were working with a big mission. And they said, "Oh, we don't want an orphanage." So we stepped out on faith. We were living on $600 a month. When we stepped out on faith, God doubled it.
Amen.
And we were able to take care of babies. When He sent more babies, so we had 6 babies to start with when we went out on our own to start an orphanage. One day, all of a sudden, we had 12. He doubled the money again. So we'd have money to take care of them. Never gave us more. Kept us on our knees. Keeps us on our knees today praying for
Amen.
funds and everything. It takes a lot of money to run an orphanage, but it's what God's called us to do. And those children need help. They need help. Do they need me? No, they don't necessarily need me. But they need help. And somebody has to give that help. And God's chosen us to do that. And the people that work with us, and the people that support us, and the people come and help build. And that's how we got to Haiti.
Yeah. And as it turns out, GLA has one of the top, if not the top, NICU available in the entire country.
Yeah.
So when the government hospitals receive children in that they don't have the resources, the skills, or the equipment to nurse back to health, they send them to GLA because they know that's where they're going to receive premium care. So that's the kind of facility that we as a church are partnering with. And as you can already tell, 2 people that started this with such a passion and a hunger to help children and families. And it's not just to take children away from families and give them to people like the Osborns, but what I love about GLA is their heart's desires, if possible, to nurse these children back to health and then give them back to their native family and help this family thrive. And so that's incredible. But John, let's hear from you for a second, because I don't know that Haiti was on your radar.
No.
So what did
not at all.
God do in your life first to bring you to faith and then to bring you to a place where you would actually relocate, take your whole family to a little country called Haiti?
It was pretty impressive what He did. You know, I take no credit, but He impressed me. Like Dixie said, I grew up in the church. Mom and Dad always went and drug us along. And I missed that final step, the one about getting saved. I believed in God. I knew who Jesus was, but I'd missed that last step.
That personal step, yeah.
And my daughter Lori, we'd take the kids to church every Sunday. I'd drop them off out front, get in the car, go back home, pick them up later. They went with Grandma and Grandpa. Real small church. We came from a town of 93 people, and there was about 120 in the church. So everybody from the surrounding area came in and everything, and I knew everybody there. Got to hearing from one of my friends. He said, "Hey, Lori tells us that you and Dixie are going to come to church Sunday because it's her birthday.
That's our daughter.
Yeah, our daughter Lori. She was about, I don't know, 8 or 9. And I'm going, oh, really? Hadn't nobody bothered telling me about it, but okay. So come Sunday morning, I took the kids down, dropped them off for Sunday school, went back home, and I had kind of blown it off, not really thinking about it. And Dixie was getting dressed to go, and I said, we going? She goes, yeah. I said, okay, that's great. This place may fall down, but, let's go. Turns out that was all the Lord's will. I can't tell you what preacher preached on that day, but I can tell you they sang a song at the end of the service, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I was standing there, and the tears started running down my face. And my uncle had driven 25 miles that day and brought his kids to our little church. And I figured Lori had just told him. He told me later, no. I just got up that morning, and Lord said I was supposed to come here today. Found that out later, another part of it. And he looked over at me and said, you want to go down front? And I said, no. Bad enough standing back here bawling like a baby.
Yeah.
And about 30 seconds later, I about ran over everybody in the place to get up front. My life changed that day. Changed totally. Telephone company's a rough place to work. And I was probably one of the roughest ones in there. Took me about 2 weeks to learn how to talk again, because the Lord took about half my vocabulary away from me. Come into work and go,
I hear you.
But I became a changed person, and I started living with the Lord. And from day one, my prayer was, Lord, I've wasted so many years. I said, you tell me what to do. I don't know what you want with somebody like me, but here I am. You tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Well, be careful what you pray for. A little while later, I loved my job, got a new boss. Turned out to be the vice president's son, just out of college. And he was going to revolutionize the way we all did our jobs. And all of a sudden, my job wasn't happy anymore. I figured they'd carry me out of there with my climbing boots on, And all of a sudden, it just wasn't where I was supposed to be. We got a monthly magazine from the church. They kept talking about, we need a maintenance person in Haiti.
And nurses.
Nurses.
I said to John, listen to it.
And she'd make sure to lay it out on the table all the time, opened up. And I was not being a smart aleck. I said, I'll put this on my prayer list. I'll pray daily that the Lord will send somebody to fill that position as a maintenance man. And I told a buddy I'd worked with their phone company. He was a good Christian. I'd told him about it. He goes, well, when you going? And I said, I ain't going to Haiti. What are you talking about? And this went on for a while. And one day we were sitting drinking coffee, and he said, when are you going to Haiti? And I said, I don't know. And I don't know which one of us was more surprised. We both kind of looked at each other and changed the subject. And I got home and told Dixie about it. And I said, maybe you ought to give him a call and just see what this is all about. Well, next day at work, she gives me a call and says, can you get vacation next week? Thinking, well, why? She goes, they said that they would pay to send us down there to the mission field in Haiti for 2 weeks to see what it was all about. Well, I worked out on the line with a phone company, and Illinois is not friendly in the winter to utility workers. And I'm thinking, 2 weeks in the Caribbean, paid for. Yeah, I think we ought to go check it out. We got off the plane, and as Dixie put it, it was like somebody threw a wet wool blanket over her head.
It's hot.
And she's the one that's all gung-ho about this. I'm kind of along for the ride. I hadn't even gotten the airport terminal yet, and I said, I'm home.
He did. He said, this feels like home.
I'm home.
Wow.
And she's going, wonder if we can get back on the plane.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it's hot. It is hot.
It's hot.
And 20 years later,
Here we are.
it's still
Yeah.
home.
Here we are, and it is home.
Yeah.
God has put us where he wanted us.
That's right.
Okay? It's not by us. We would not have chosen to live there. But when God calls, if you step out in faith, you will be in the right place where he wants you to be. Now, we've learned a lot of things, learned a lot of lessons. Learned
Dixie's
to be
got the
dependent
faith. I
on
mean,
him.
she has the vision. We need to build a $1 million compound. And I'm going, yeah, sure we do.
That's because I
Put the
had
money in my hand and
Yeah.
I'll go build it.
Right.
And she said, don't worry about that. You make the plans and we'll
God will
get it
build
covered.
God will build it, not us.
And he has.
Yeah.
He has. It's not ours.
Right.
It belongs to people like you and all the guys that have already been down there on work teams. That's who built it. It's not us.
The thing is, when God gives you a plan, he doesn't put a time limit on it. So it's taken us years to get to where we are. But I had a missionary when we first stepped out and said, we're going to start an orphanage. She said, Dixie, let me tell you a little story. And she'd been there 60 years in Haiti. If you're going to be an orphanage, you be the best orphanage in Haiti. Too many people start out and they start an orphanage, and then a year later they've got a church going, and then they've got a clinic out here, and all of a sudden they've got 900 students in a school, and the next thing you know, they've gone back to the U.S. because they are so burnt out because they're trying to do too much. She says, if you're going to be an orphanage, then you be the best orphanage there before you do anything else. And that I took that to heart. Our kids are well cared for. Haitian Social Services calls us a model. But people come in and they say, you don't need help. Your kids are
look
all
at this place.
taken care of, and they are dressed nicely and everything. And I said, that's because we have wonderful people that help us do this. Those children deserve the same things my children get. They deserve a birthday party. Most Haitians don't even know what the date of their birthday. My kids get birthday parties. That's part of being a kid, is having a birthday party. They celebrate Christmas. We have Easter. We have Thanksgiving. We have Valentine's Day. Those kids deserve that, because I'm raising them up, especially the ones that are there long term. Someday they are going to come here. And if they don't speak some English, and if they don't know what Valentine's Day is, it's harder for them to adjust to being an American kid. So our kids, I want them to have pretty hair done nice, their hair done nicely, and their clothes to be clean clothes without big old rips in them and tears and everything, and their teeth to be brushed every day. And, you know, I want that for those kids. They deserve that. And I want them to have people come down and do vacation Bible school for them, and to, you know, hold the babies and just love them. You know, those babies need just love and care. They need grandma. We used to have a team come from Florida, and they called themselves the rocking grandmas and grandpas. They came down, and all they did was sit in the rocking chairs and hold those babies.
All retired folks.
All retired folks in Florida. And those are what those kids need. They just need the attention and love, okay? They go to school. I make sure they're in school. I make sure they get their vaccinations. I make sure they get all their medical care, that they deserve that. That's just something they deserve. Kids in India deserve the same thing. Kids in Vietnam, kids in China, they all deserve that. Even if they're in orphanages. That isn't, and we can provide that.
One of the things that I love about GLA and about you guys and your vision is that it is so specific. It's focused. Like you said, there's so many organizations down there that try to do everything. And that's that reflects sort of the same heart we have here as a church, is that we follow a very simple model. There's a lot of churches out there who want to try to do everything, and that's fine if that works for them. But we're not that church. And so we have people come, well, why don't we have this ministry? Why don't we do that? Because it doesn't fit our model.
Right.
It's not who we are, and we try to stay focused and do really well at a few things. And I think that's why our relationship is so good, because we see that in you. Is you're not trying to be a church. You're not trying to be a school. I mean, these kids get educated and they have church and that kind of thing.
Right.
But you're there to serve and fulfill God's purpose. And we started today is the first Sunday of our new series, Thankful, where we're talking each week about different areas of our life where we can experience God's fullness and His abundance. As He talks about in John 10:10, Jesus says, I came that you might have life and have it to the full. Well, sort of the idea that we wanted to focus on today and hearing from you guys is living life purposeful, being full, that abundant life that you're walking in and doing what God's called you to do. And I think just from hearing your story, if I could speak for you for a second, there's no other place and nothing else in the world you'd rather be doing now in your life than this.
Exactly.
You feel full. Brandy and Cameron feel like their family is now complete. And that's God's desire for us. And so, but just thinking about that vision and you guys, your goals, what are some projects that you're working on currently, or maybe some ways, some things you have in mind, things you'd like to complete or do maybe in the near future that a church like ours and even individuals can be a part of?
You've all been a part of the guest house. The team has. You've all been, because you're all in this together with us. We need to finish the guest house down there. The NICU is overflowing, and we're trying to add an addition on that. We need to finish it up. That's going to be the end. Well, it'll be the end of this phase of major construction. Who knows what's in the future? He gave us more land than what we needed, so who knows how the Lord's going to fill that land up. But right now, this is the end of our major construction.
Yeah, and the guest house is not, you need to understand, it's not a small undertaking. A few guys and myself went down this year, and that was when you saw the video, we put the roof on it. This is a 2-story mega structure. It's about the size of this church building, which is a huge blessing.
10,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's a huge blessing and what you guys need. But obviously, we put the roof on it that week, and then it needs to be completed. And then, like I said, one of the most pressing needs is to finish the expansion of their NICU units. And so to take care of those children, that's a pressing need.
If anybody knows anything about aquaponics, I'm trying to set up an aquaponics system. It's where you have like tilapia fish, and you use the fish water for your garden, to water your garden, and your garden fertilizes the fish poop, fertilizes the garden, then it cycles back into the fish. So not only do we have big vegetable garden for the kids, we also have fish for the kids. And you get different levels. So if anybody knows anything about that, I'm trying to get that started down there. We also have goats. We're going to milk goats and have milk for the kids from our own goats. We have chickens. We have eggs for the kids 3 times a week, scrambled eggs for the kids. And we have ducks and turkeys, and I've got a peacock named Fred. Okay? And the kids love the little zoo area that, but they love to get the eggs and all of that. So if anybody knows anything about aquaponics, come and visit us, okay?
I guarantee you somebody.
Somebody would know.
And that's the thing about going to help you guys is, we talk a lot about, get on the next trip, take a trip to Haiti with us. And now when we go, we limit it to about anywhere from 8 to 15 folks. But you think, well, I can't go. I don't have anything to offer. Anybody with any sort of skill set or no skill set whatsoever can go to Haiti and make a difference in
That's
a
right.
week down there, whether, again, it's holding and rocking babies or doing some
Yep.
kind of tonics
Yeah.
of some kind, whatever.
And
But,
I warn you, I hate to paint, so
there's always painting to be
if
done.
there's something to
Yeah.
be painted, man, here's a paintbrush. Go
Well,
for
we
it.
know here at our church about construction, and because
Yep.
we're about
Yeah.
to start a major construction ourselves, and all of the guys that go down and girls that have gone down come back talking about the needs that you guys have as far mainly for tools, because like you can't run down to Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot and when a tool or a screw gun or a saw or something breaks, if it's not available in country, if it is, it's probably super expensive. You have to get it shipped in, and hopefully you can get it through customs without them taking it for themselves.
Yeah.
So we know that things break, and they break often, and it's hard to get those repaired. So we have a little gift from our church this morning that we'd like for you to take back to country with you. So Trey and these guys are going to bring out a few things. Now, in the first service, we presented you with one bag. What you didn't know is we had 2 other bags.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
come
Stashed away.
on. Come on.
So Trey knows
I
exactly.
was already thrilled.
Trey knows exactly what's in these bags. So if you would, just yellow and black is all.
That's all
it
I
needs
need to know.
Yeah.
It's a DeWalt, which if you, I'd never heard of DeWalt, but they're like the Cadillac.
See, that's what he's been looking for.
Yeah.
Check that out.
All right, so,
What is in the rest of these?
So obviously this is a battery-powered trim gun, which is a big deal. That way you don't have to tote around all your air compressors to all your little
Well,
apartments.
yeah, no, that's great.
And then these 2 bags are 5-piece 20-volt brushless kits. So they've got a skill saw, a sawzall, a 3-speed hammer drill, as well as impact drills plus lights, 2 5-amp-hour batteries. We got you some extra batteries and some chargers.
Wow.
And somebody first service came back and donated you a hammer because you said you had a hammer.
There you go.
I'm a happy man.
Yeah.
And Dixie, you need to talk to Jonathan Deese about aquaponics. He's a
Oh,
teacher,
really?
Does
Agriculture. Yeah.
and they
Oh,
have
really?
one set up.
I
Oh,
told
really?
you. I told you.
Really? Yeah.
See, guys, and this is just
Thank
a small
you.
thing.
Thank you.
This is
Thank you,
small.
thank you,
But
thank
this
you.
is what happens again when you give, when you sponsor GLA, and through your generosity, we're able to do things like this as a church to help them directly. And so, just to leave you with a couple thoughts this morning. I know, just like Dixie's video said, not everybody's called to Haiti. We understand that. We understand that as a church. But what we need to know and we need to understand is that we have a responsibility to partner with others to help fulfill God's purpose for them and to fulfill God's purpose for His kingdom. And so I just want to point out 3 things real quick this morning about orphan care and orphan ministry and those in distress. One, whether you ever go to Haiti or not, we all have a responsibility to care for orphans and those in distress. One of our theme verses for our orphan outreach ministry is James 1:27, which talks about how pure and undefiled religion that honors God is to care for orphans, widows, and those in distress. And so again, it really doesn't matter how you participate, whether it's going on a trip or giving financially or praying, whatever it might be. We need to own that responsibilities as followers of Christ to care for those in need. Number 2 is that when we do that, when we take on that responsibility, we can be sure that we are reflecting and revering our Father. We are reflecting His nature and His character, and we're honoring Him by doing so. Because the Bible describes God as one who is near to the brokenhearted, who is a father to the fatherless, who is overseeing and caring for the widowed. And when we participate in that responsibility and we start doing those things that would serve those in need, we're reflecting the heart of God and we're honoring who He is. And then finally, when we're taking on that responsibility, we're reflecting our Father and honoring Him, we can be sure that when we care for those in need, there is a reward to be received from God. He blesses those who care for others in need. John and Dixie could take the next 2 hours and explain to you and describe to you all the blessings that they've received over the last 20-some years of being obedient and by serving the Haitian people and these children. But the thing is, we can experience some of that same blessing when we're able to do things like this, or we're giving to sponsor a child, or we're taking a trip to go down and put a roof on a NICU facility, whatever it might be. Here's what I found in those ladies and the guys who have gone down to serve with us. We all go down with this great anticipation and this expectation to bless these people. We're going to leave them better off than they were, and typically we do. But everybody that goes, so far I have seen, come back saying, I've been more blessed. I feel more rewarded than those that we served. And I think that's because God promises that in His Word. Mm-hmm. And in your notes today, you can see where we've put there for you scriptures that talk about God's reward for those who do things exactly like this. So we're just glad to be a part of it, and glad that God has used the two of you to start such an organization and outreach there in Haiti, and brought it from something so small, just like I said, just an idea, to what it is today. It's an incredible facility. And just so you know, church, you can be an ongoing sponsor, an ongoing supporter of GLA and their ministry. You can do that right through our website. If you'll go to newlife247.com and click on Give, it will start to give you step-by-step instructions on how to set up a online giving account. Then there's a drop-down menu once you've done all of that. You can also give your tithes and offerings. You can give toward the building campaign. You can give toward GLA. You can give toward India. All these options there. But then as you leave today, out in the foyer, there's a table there with a lot of pictures of different children that are in the orphanage right now, and those are sponsorship cards. If you'd like to pick one of those up and consider sponsoring a child directly, then that information is out there and available for you to do. If you're interested perhaps on the next trip, we will be sending another team down to GLA in April of 2019. And I know that's sort of a long ways off, but it takes a lot to plan for a team of 8 to 15 people to go international. So April the 22nd through the 29th will be the next trip. You can email us here at the church, info@newlife247.com, and then we will put someone in contact with you. Primarily it will be Brandy, but to give you information about what you need to do, your next steps to be a part of that trip. So again, guys, we just thank you so much for being here. And,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
We're all in this together. We can't do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
It's nice to see people on this side of the ocean, okay?
Yeah.
So, and people that we've seen on that side. So it's really nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So they'll be available out in the foyer after the service if you'd like to spend some time talking with John and Dixie. But together, let's just pray together, ask God to continue to bless them, and then our worship team will come back up and dismiss us. God, we love you. Thank you so much for just the opportunity today to hear a little bit about what you're doing in Haiti through God's littlest angels. The history that there is there over the last 20 years, how you've taken this place from just an idea, a dream, a vision, and have fulfilled it and brought it to what it is today, and how you've used John and Dixie and Tim and the others, the staff there at GLA, and you use them continually every day to minister to these kids and those in need, the families. And God, we just pray that as New Life Church, we would take seriously this opportunity and responsibility to give into and to support ministries like this, knowing that when we do so, we are not only taking ownership of our Christian responsibility, but we're also honoring you, and in return, being blessed by you. So we thank you again, and we ask you to let your blessing, your favor be upon John, Dixie, the GLA organization. God, provide their every need. Continue to fill them with passion and a vision for the future. And we give you all the praise and the glory for it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Guys, would you give them a hand?
Thank you.